Hi, this is Jessie Hoff with C21JRS Realty, and I, again, am lucky enough to be sitting down with my old friend, Carmen Brocato, who is not only a real estate agent, but a licensed appraiser in Union County, but his office primarily located in Clark. And I've known him for a really long time, public servant, and he can kind of go on and on about the other things that he's done. But I wanted to meet with you today, so thank you very much for that, because I wanted to get from your perspective as an appraiser how you have been doing and how things are looking as far as real estate goes. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Thanks. So can you just tell me and anyone who's watching a little bit about yourself and your job?
I've been a certified real estate appraiser for about 22 years now. I work out of Clark, but I do cover Union, Somerset, Middlesex, Essex counties. I do anything from appraisals for refinance and mortgages, all the way down to measuring dwellings for real estate agents or doing pre-listing appraisals for real estate agents. So I have a wide range of available products that I do.
Okay. All right. Well, so thank you. So how has your business adapted, especially since the last few weeks when we kind of, I keep saying, I feel like we were on pause for a little while and not really knowing how long this was going to go on for. There was kind of this, I feel like everything, I don't know if you'd agree, but I feel like everything kind of just stopped while we all looked around trying to figure out what was happening. And slowly, I think now that we're kind of realizing this might be something that is going to linger or kind of be our lives for the next couple weeks, months, whatever it is, we've had to adapt. So what have you done, or can you talk about any changes that you've made so that you can continue to do your job safely since this all started?
Well, I still do interior appraisals when needed. I wear my mask and my gloves and booties. And when I go into someone's house, I make sure they open all the lights and the doors so I don't touch as much as possible. But the mortgage industry has really changed a little bit. They're accepting more desktop appraisals and drive-by appraisals for a lot of their loans. So with that, we don't even leave the office, or if we do leave the office, we just drive by the house. And they're accepting a lot of those for the refinances and sales.
And that's what you, yeah, that's the drive-by where you literally don't go inside. You drive by and look at the property from the exterior.
Correct. I'll take a picture from the exterior, and then I'll get most of the information from the homeowner on the phone. I can send them, I usually send them an app where they could take pictures of their house interior, and they could send it back to me, and I put it in the report, and then I get a lot from the tax records. And that's how we do a ride-by appraisal. And we do the same thing with a desktop, except we don't leave the office for that. We take everything out of MLS.
I was going to ask you about that, because one of the things that we've seen from the real estate agent side is some appraisers have said, can you shoot a picture of this, or to some of the agents, or can you video and shoot it over to us? But in addition to the agents helping out, you just mentioned you have something that you send to the homeowner. So if somebody's doing a refinance, you don't even need to go into their house. You have some way to get the interior pictures with their assistance.
Correct. And if it's required to do a full appraisal, I'll do it. But if not, then we have an app that we email to somebody. It explains to them what they have to take pictures of. They take the pictures and it sends it back to me, and it automatically goes back into the report. So, I mean, theoretically, it's just like me being in the house.
That's great. Yeah, because sometimes you have to see inside. To do a drive-by would make me a little bit nervous. I think for my house, you've been in it. It's a little deceiving from the outside. Yes. So it's good to know that there's options for people who might be concerned about how value would come in.
But I got a certified condition of interiors. So, for me to certify it, if I can see it, through pictures, it makes me a little more confident that what I'm saying is correct.
Have you seen any of the new, I'm putting you on the spot here, but well, all these questions are, but have you seen any of the Century 21 new virtual tours that we have, or the virtual open houses? Maybe you didn't, but it's one of the new platforms that we're doing where it's, even with the virtual open house, the agents are going there and people can say, can you show me the bathroom really quick? Or can you show me this? So with the agents being inside or having the homeowner help you out, being able to get those interior views, I think, are so important, because it's not just looking at like a picture and deciding to move forward on something. It's a little bit more than that.
You're right. And I mean, there's a difference between looking at the pictures on the MLS and seeing a live video of the interior of the house that you're looking at purchasing. So I think that it might be the new norm for a while for real estate itself. I think down the road to open up real estate again, where you can go show houses because you're really only one-on-one. But until that time comes, I think this is a great option.
And I think we should just remind everyone of the point you made before, which was something that we've talked about for our buyers and for our sellers. When we're showing property, we ask them, please turn on all the lights, open up the doors. So that way it minimizes our need or your need to have to touch something inside someone else's house. So if they have the doors to the closets already opened, if they have all the light switches turned on, like you're asking them to do, it's one more measure in place to keep everyone protected and safe.
Correct. And I could probably do the whole house without touching anything if they get that, because I mean, I'm only taking pictures and doing a sketch and taking notes. So that's a big help, and it cuts down the possibility of spreading, germs and the virus.
Right. And that's great. So it's still accomplishing, because that's what we keep talking about, that no matter what's going on, there's still people who need to buy and sell, but also there's still people who need to do refinances. So you do appraisals for that as well.
Correct. Correct. I'm seeing a lot of purchases, believe it or not.
You are?
Yeah,
Okay.
which I was surprised. But I talked to some realtors on some of the houses, and they said, it's going strong. So that's a good thing. It's a good thing for the economy.
Yeah, I mentioned this earlier with someone else I was talking to, that one of the last contracts we had written prior to, or this was like in the second week of March, I wrote a contract on a property. We were up against 16 other offers. There were 17 offers total on a house in Colonia that we made the offer on. So there was really this kind of super out of whack, no balance to our market at all. So for those who are able to do something right now, we need that inventory to supply for those buyers, because we really did have a buildup. So do you think there was like a little period of slowdown, and then it slowly, moved a little, like the needle moved a little bit, where you're seeing more purchases?
I've seen a little slowdown still to this day. I'm not averaging as many during the week as I was before this situation occurred. But it's still a steady flow. I mean, I still get a steady flow of work, but it's not like it used to be. So, I mean, a lot of people on the refinance side are still a little leery letting people in the house. So I got people still on hold waiting for, this to slow down a little. And then on the purchase side, I mean, it's constant, but it's not overabundance yet. But I mean, there's not that. If I look at Clark, the listings are kind of low itself. Right. So it might be supply and demand problem more than the problem.
Yeah. No, we definitely have a shortage of inventory in our local area anyway. Yeah. I mean, I know you service a lot wider area than I do as a real estate agent, but like in terms of, I mean, obviously both of us can work all over the state, but as far as our like market heart, mine's much smaller and a little bit more concentrated than yours. But we absolutely have an inventory problem, and we had one going into this anyway. It's also the spring and things like that. And I think how I feel about the spring market. I tend to think people always have to buy and sell, and waiting for the spring isn't the best thing to do because there's more competition. But anyway, it's my little side note thing. But I would say that there was definitely we were moving into what was going to be the strongest spring market in recent years. And then kind of the curtain fell, and this is where we are. But at the same time, for those who have needs to do these things, we are able to do it. So as far as you mentioned what you're working on right now, are you seeing more purchase contracts versus refinances, or one or the other?
I've seen more purchases than refinances. Okay. And although we have low inventory, I think people are just leery of listing their house right now the way the market is, and maybe they don't understand that there's other options they have on showing their houses. Sure, it got a lot to do with it. I think in a month or two, when we start opening up, I think you're going to see a big jump in real estate, because everything's going to open up and people are going to be able to go out and look at houses and go and refinance. So I give it about a month or two, and I think we're going to see a big jump in the real estate market itself.
Yeah, I think the refinances are opening back up again as well, because there was like that 3-week period, 4-week period where the rates went up and then they were down, but then like they had shot up, kind of this overcorrection, and then there was this like massive concern that the credit scores were going to change and that nobody was going to lend, and everything got put on hold. So the people that I knew who were in the midst of refinancing, they were kind of encouraged to just hold tight a little bit until things were a little bit more stable. And now, maybe in the last week, 10 days, I've started to hear, okay, like, look, I think you're in a good place to do so. Because they do, I mean, not that this is your main area, but they do anticipate the rates are going to stay, kind of in this amazing place for a long time. Or
Yeah, I think so too. And the fact being on refinance situation is, I mean, with the economy where it is and people not working, I mean, refinancing is not the top of the list of doing things. So I
Mhm.
think when we get
Right.
back into it, people go back to work and everything starts over again, then you'll see the refinance back up.
I agree. So thank you again. I appreciate your insight on what's going on and how you're able to do appraisal safely, which is another component of our, mutual industry. So I would just ask you, basically at the end, is there anything over the past couple weeks that you've learned from this, that you're taking away from this, that you would just want to share?
Well, I mean, I've taken precautions before the situation that occurred. I mean, I wear my booties in the house when I do appraisals. Um, but it just goes to show you that life can change, and we as Americans adapt to it, and
Mhm.
life goes on. And if any real estate needs, whether it's an appraisal or buying a house, it can be done safely,
Mhm.
and it might be like this for a while. So we have to get used to it.
Right. Well, on that note, thank you very much. I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me today. So if anyone needs your information down here, Brocato Appraisal Services or Service, sorry, and the website is brocatoappraisal.com, and the phone number at the bottom of the screen as well is 732-680-0224. So you can reach out to Carmen if you have any questions regarding an appraisal, a refi, anything like that. If you need to establish a value for one reason or the other, he would be an excellent resource. So again, thank you very much for today, and please stay well.
Thank you, Jess. You too.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye now.